So we need to know the difference between damper setting and drag factor. I'm sure you guys have heard both terms tossed around, and often they're used interchangeably. What we want to do is start to take a look at, well, what's most important and why do we actually need to know how to use it? So when we're talking damper setting, and as I use the term damper setting, what I'm talking about is moving this wheel right here. This is my damper setting. When I'm talking drag factor, I'm calibrating what's on the monitor using a function that we have in this computer here. So let's start talking damper setting. So damper setting, when I move and adjust this wheel, what I'm doing is letting more or less air into and out of the flywheel that's inside here. So you can see on top of this flywheel we have a cage, a nice mesh cage that allows air into and out of the flywheel. So if that gets dirty, it's going to start to affect how much air can flow in. Now, why am I talking about whether or not this is getting dirty? Because if I'm simply worrying about setting my damper setting, and I always row on a 5, right? We've got this adjusted to a 5. Let's say every machine I get on, I set it to a 5. Well, some machines have more dirt, less dirt, they've been used more or less. What that means is that more or less air is going to flow in every time I change machines. So a 5 on this machine may not be a 5 on another machine. So that's where drag factor comes in, is in helping us calibrate the machine itself. So if I'm going to use a 5, I want to make sure that I'm calibrating to understand what drag factor I'm actually rowing at and what the feel is going to be, because a 5 on this machine and a 5 on another machine won't feel the same, but the same drag factor on those machines will feel the same. Now, what really matters is how your engine works. So if I take this up to a 10, I'm letting a lot of air into this flywheel, which means that it's grabbing a lot of air, making the stroke feel heavier. Now, if I take it down to a 1, I'm pinching it off, letting less air in, which means that that flywheel can spin more freely, and so you can take a lot more strokes with more ease. So what matters most is really how your engine works. If you're somebody that can let your heart rate run through the roof, and you have no problem with that, you can just live at a 200 and no problem, then you're going to want to live at a lower damper setting. If you're somebody like Dave that loves getting on the power and you can just sit at a 10 forever, taking very few strokes per minute but really getting onto that stroke, then you're going to be fine and you want to live up at a higher damper setting. So that's just a general principle for you, or a way to look at it. So it's not that a 10 is better than a 1, it just matters how your engine works. So 10 doesn't necessarily mean you're more powerful. I've seen some very big guys that row more efficiently at a 3 than they do at a 10. And it just takes playing with it, honestly. So getting back to talking a little bit about how we actually calibrate the machine, I'm going to have Dave show us how to do that. So I'm going to just set our damper to a 5 just to test it out. All right, so we're going to have Dave strap in.